This episode, I get the opportunity to catch up with my buddy, Ray Care. We also call him Cash. Ray is a Navy SEAL, also worked for the CIA, and then transitioned into the entrepreneurial life. We talk about that transition. We talk about the businesses that he is working in, and we also talk about how a little stronger mindset can make this a better country. I hope you enjoy.
Man, you hear that? Look at here. They're coming. They're coming. We're going to have a party.
I'm talking good old barbecue. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Old Boy Podcast, and I'm excited to reconnect with my buddy Ray Care, or as we call him, Cash. Hey buddy, good to have you on.
Dude, I'm pumped to be here, brother. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So me and you crossed paths years ago and kind of first met through a lot of people on this show. They're probably going to get sick of hearing it, through Tim Montana, and then through our buddy Darren McBee.
Yeah, both sons of bitches. I love them both.
Yep, and both guys just like yourself that love giving back. Especially when it comes to veterans, and yourself being a Navy SEAL. It's always been cool to work those events with you guys and come out and cook and just be able to take what I bring to the table and use it to help give back for everything you guys have done and the folks y'all are trying to take care of.
Yeah, you can cook. You can cook, Mo. You can cook, baby. So let's cook. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because so many people coming out of the military have a hard time transitioning back into what's life going to be after military, because it's so much of your identity while you're in it, right?
Yeah.
And then you especially, I mean, at the SEAL level, some of the things you did with, some of the armed, some of the escorts of some very high level people in some real nasty areas, like that's just a different intensity and a different way of life. So when you kind of close that chapter or get your paperwork to move on, how you come back into life and establish, okay, what am I going to do with all this? Because I think you've done a really good job at it. So I wanted to understand a little bit about the mindset and how you make that transition.
Well, it's not easy, but for me it was. But let me explain why. That's not a cocky comment. Is I went straight from the SEAL teams to the CIA. So all I did pretty much is just went from overseas in one capacity to going over as a contractor. So even though technically a government job, not a military job, you were still running with the same type of horses, if you will, that, expect and demand the best from you. So that was easy for me, right? Like going overseas. Now, the work got a little crazier, right? You didn't have as much support. But I think when the shit really hit the fan is when I went from that world, military/government world, to this thing we call the fucking entrepreneur world, right? So, because this is what I've realized, is it's not hard to stand out and be successful if you just have that drive and that mindset, which we'll talk about. But you're not, like, when you go in the civilian world, the little things that you learn in the military, like show up early, don't show up like perfect example. If you're fucking cooking for me and you say, hey, dinner's at 5, I'm going to be there at 3 because I know all the food's going to be gone because I've been enough at your events. Like I use that same premise with everything, right? It's like, it's not just how you show up, it's when you show up, it's who you show up with, and it's how you act when you get there. And my mindset is simply this, and not everybody has it in the military, right? And I'm not just saying the Navy SEALs do, because I think all the Spec Ops groups do, professional athletes, people that are kind of running at a higher frequency, is just every day is a blessing. And I think if you look at it that way, everything that I gather and gain is a win, and everything that I don't want to say I lose, but I learn from, because I really don't lose because I don't fucking quit. I don't quit on myself, is still a win, because, like, perfect example, if me and you are going to get into a fight, Chad, you're a big motherfucker and I know you. If you hit me with a right cross and you keep hitting me with a right cross, if I don't learn how to block that, you're just going to keep hitting me. So my thing is like, I don't think a human being can succeed on just the wins alone. There have to be the learns, the L's, right? A lot of lessons are learned the hard way, but if they're learned hard enough, you're only going to fucking do it one time. And the mindset to me is life is a gift. Unwrap it, baby. So It's that simple for me. I know people. I don't overcomplicate shit. I'm kind of like Joey on Friends. I always get the girl, I get the thing, but I do. I'm just, and that's what it's about. But it's not only about how you show up. It's attitude is key, right? Attitude and effort is something that when you transition, that can't be taught. It can't be taught. And it can't be bought. It can't. Listen. I've had days where I've just want to throw in a towel. And you just got to keep grinding. I've got all these reminders behind me, the seal stuff, the coins, pictures of my wife when she was modeling, and all this shit that says, hey man, look at what it took you to get here. I think so many people don't reflect on the growth of their life. They focus on the pain that they're in at the moment. And what's made me so successful, brother, is I'm not a motivational coach. I am a pain coach. I teach people how to profit from pain, because if you sit here, man, I know you, we've had some long conversations before, and tell me you've never dealt with pain, I'm gonna call the bullshit flag.
Absolutely.
So what all I do, and what I notice a lot of these guys that are transitioning from the military to the civilian world, is there is a transitional period, because I call them the villagers. The common villagers don't understand people that show up and are excited to have a job, right? Like, I'm excited if I get a job, right? I love people, because I'm not going to do something I don't want to do. So if I'm here, it's because I want to be here. And then I'm just going to keep building off of that. And, and I think the mindset that military needs to continue to have is, I'm not going to lower my standard of who I am or what I do and who I surround myself with to fit in with the they or the them. I am going to focus on more of the me and the very select few of the we, and I'm going to maintain that. Like, I'd be like you. Like, if I say, hey, like, I put everything in cooking. If I say, hey, Chad, man, make me a medium rare steak, because that's like my steak is, I know that fucking steak is going to be perfect medium rare. It's not going to be well done. And if it is, there has to be a reason for it. And you're the kind of guy that goes, fuck, because then this is what you're going to own up for it and say, let me fix it. Where most people will be like, throw some sauce on that shit.
Yeah, can't do it.
But there is no secret sauce to winning, man. You just got to put in the work, and if you don't get it right, do it again, own up to it. And that's the mentality that I have, man. That's how you become part of a real team. It's trust, effort, attitude, and mission.
I completely agree. And seeing what you've been doing with these, I don't know if boot camp's the right word or what you, but like, I by the way, like, if you go and watch Cash's Instagram and you're not ready to run through a fucking wall, there's a whole other set of problems we gotta go through.
It's not that, man. Bobby Ritchie, we know Bobby, the Kid Rock, man. Here's the thing. He's like, gosh damn, I love you, or gosh damn, I hate you. There ain't no one, and Bobby's the same way.
Yep, he is.
This is me. I'm not going to change who I am around anybody. I don't change. Time I watch what I say is when I'm in church. Other than that, this is what you get.
I love it, man. And that's the thing too, is it's like you've came out, but and then you were talking about kind of that path to entrepreneurship, and you've got a couple different levels. You know what I mean? I know you've been doing a lot of the speaking, a lot of the team building type stuff, and then kind of the boot camps we were talking about. What would you say has brought you great joy from that? Because obviously that's why like you said, you're going to do what you want to do. And obviously you keep going back and doing it. There has to be something that brings you back that you just enjoy about being able to empower and give people.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's the men's course or it's the young men's course. It's that aha, that fuck you moment, that I'm turning the switch on. I used to talk about flipping the switch on and off. It's about flipping it on and leaving it on. When you see this, I get goosebumps when I see it. My hair is standing up. It's just when it all comes to full circle. Like when you're screaming at these guys, or you're riding these kids' asses, not literally, right? Figuratively. I can watch what I say here, because everyone's someone off. I'm a father, so easy, everyone. But when you're really laying into their ass and you're chewing their ass, and they realize that it's out of love, it's out of like, my father was murdered when I was 11. I was abused as a child in so many fashions we don't need to get into there. And it's like, when you let that guard and that barrier down, and you just become, I'm going to say the V word, vulnerable, and you allow yourself to kind of like drop those barriers and those walls, because that's what fucking men do, whether you're 13 or you're 113, and you say, holy shit, man, these people, this person, this group is here to help me, not for a profit, right? It's because, holy shit, they've been there and done that too. If I want to learn how to cook, I'm going to learn how to cook from you.
Yep.
I want to learn how to cook from someone I can fucking cook better than. Just like these men, when they come to our courses, you think a lot of these men want to become richer, and that's part of it. But what they want to really do is just be better.
Stronger.
And, you know, and I think that aha moment, if we really want to narrow it down, Chad, is when these men and these young men understand what their why is. And everybody has their panties twisted of what the why is. Like, you know, I may ask you, I might be a better father, husband, chef. I don't know. And you ask me and it's this, this, and this. And I ask this person, it's this, and this. And then when I ask these people, okay, so you want to be, from men, I work with men. You want to be a better son. You want to be a better student. You want to be a better athlete. Dad, you want to be a better man, father, husband, lover, friend. Yeah. How the fuck can you, and you're telling me there are your whys. Your why has to be you. Right? And I explain these, and the kids, they don't get, and when I say the kids, I didn't mean the men, they don't get it. They're like, no, you know, my wife, Tricia, my daughter Nyla.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, I can't be better at being a husband and a father and that if I'm not the best version of me. So I tell these young men and these men, you have to be selfish with your why, and your why has to be you. You need to take time for self-care and self-love. And I know people say, oh, that sounds so stupid. No, it's not. And I don't mean that in a rhetorical. It's just you have to have time to master the craft of loving yourself. If you don't love you, how the fuck can you love anybody else? If you don't trust you, how the fuck can you trust anybody else, right? If you're not physically, mentally, emotionally the best version of you, how the fuck can you go over and help someone be the best physically, mentally, and emotionally version of themselves? It's so easy. And it's just because society has ingrained it in their DNA that, you know, men can't be vulnerable. They have to be tough. They can't express their emotions. I'm not talking about sitting around in pajamas with you, Chad, watching the fucking Notebook. I'm talking about like we lose a brother or something. Hey, it's okay to lean on that big shoulder of yours and just fucking cry. It's okay.
Yeah.
And listen, don't let my tears fool you. I'm a fucking tooth chipper. I'll throw a left and a right as fast as the next guy.
Yep.
But it's only because you're out of line. That's why. And that's what I call my definition of being the savage servant, right?
Yep.
This is what we're teaching these men to be. And the savage servant is, I got to show you this. I know this is weird. I should have had this here. Right, here's my blade. See, each blade has a different logo on it. This is what we work with, and there's my trident logo. So one is the savage and one is the servant. And what I do is you constantly have to physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and financially sharpen those blades every fucking day. And the biggest kickback I get is the kids. They're like, I'm 11 years old. How can I financially get smarter and better? Well, start doing chores. Chores should be free. You should earn your keep. And then once you go above and beyond, then maybe you'll start getting some chores, right? Same thing applies. If you hire me to be a chef at one of your places or something, and I ask you for a raise, first thing you should say is, why should I give you a raise? If you're asking me that, then that means I'm only doing the minimum. The minimum, this is what I teach men and these young men. The minimum will get you nowhere in life. It'll get you just right where you are. And if you're happy with where you are, that's great. But if you're willing to exceed limitations, exceed expectations, and realize that if you really want to succeed in life, you must suffer, then you will go places. And the minute you do that and you flip that switch on, tape it on. I don't turn it off. So many people are like, oh, I'm going to use that power when I need it. This is what you get, man. I am like this 24/7. I'm like fucking 7-Eleven. I never close down.
I love it. I saw one of your quotes that I really liked, and then you kind of hit on it without saying it in that last discussion, and that's, don't mistake my passion for aggression. Mm-hmm. But you know, I think a lot of that's because we've just gotten so fucking sensitive. Like, nobody can have like a well, we used to call just a fucking man-to-man discussion. You know what I mean? Like, call the baby ugly if it's fucking ugly. You know what I mean? You can't have that discussion anymore because you got to think about this. You got whose feelings are going to get hurt. Are we supposed to be in a safe place? Like, fuck that. Like, we used to be a strong country, and that's because fucking men acted like men. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I have been saying this for the last 6 years. It's only a matter of time before someone sues someone for fucking blinking the wrong way. We have had, and I started giving up when I saw a few historical moments in life. The lady or whoever burned themselves with the hot coffee at McDonald's. The intruder fell through the roof and sued the people house
Yes.
that he broke into. And I could go on and on. I mean, as of recent, the protesters are protesting that they're not getting enough food, but yet they fucking are stupid enough to barricade themselves into a college and then demand you're owed nothing.
Nope.
Right. And I think what the country needs to understand is learn two terms, fucking and sissy, because this is the problem we have. And I'm not saying I'm a tough guy by any means, but if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But there's ways of doing it. Don't call me out in front of like if I'm doing something and we have a disagreement, it would be like this. Hey, Chad, you got a second? Yeah. Can we go over here and talk? Yeah. Let's keep our distance. You got a long reach on you. And let's just talk like men. And it's either going to be a conversation or it's going to be, it might go to something else. But when it's over with, I ain't stealing your fucking sneakers. I ain't fucking stabbing you, right? I've been knocked on my ass. I've knocked people on their asses. It's like, are we done? Yeah, let's go get a fucking beer. And
yeah, exactly.
That's how things were before this whole fucking internet thing. And you know what kills me is I'm guilty of it. Look, I've got a phone. I've got a fucking tablet. I've got a giant screen behind me. The world has gotten this way because it's so easy to sit on your ass at home and do nothing.
Yes.
You can have food delivered. You can work from home. You can do this. Like, it's infuriating. Like, how old are you, Chad?
47.
47. I'm 52, man. Back in the day, it's as simple as this. Nowadays, you get in trouble because you don't want to leave the house. You don't want to get a life. Back in the day, you got in trouble because you never wanted to come home.
Yes.
You wanted to go out. You wanted the clock back and try to pretend that shit and get your ass whooped.
Yep.
You know? And that's another thing that I'm gonna let people know in here. It's okay to spank your fucking kids.
Oh my God! Fuck yeah!
Listen. You stop on by Virginia Beach. I'll be happy to spank your kids. Like, I'm not saying beat your kids.
No.
I'm not saying put your kids in a hospital. I used to spend a night over at my buddy's house, and we get in trouble. His father would whoop my ass, and then I was waiting to see. I was either gonna go home and get my ass whooped, or I'd wait till the morning when I thought it was over with, and I get smacked by my mother, or or whatever, because she's like, "You're fucking embarrassing me," and that's all it was.
Yes, but that creates respect. That creates boundaries. That shapes. Here's how we fucking behave. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell you, I can probably count. I probably got 6 or 8, good fucking spankings in my life. Gosh. But every one of them meant something, and everything
every one of them
shaped
meant
me.
something, and you learned from them. Right?
Yes.
I was abused as a child. I'm not, and that's not what I'm saying needs to happen.
Yes.
I also used to drink from a fucking hose. I mean, like a garden hose. That's now it's like,
oh yeah,
I have bottled, whatever the fuck, whatever the water is. There's 12,000 waters.
Yeah.
We have gotten so soft.
That's it.
And the only time that I've noticed that this country comes together is when something of mass destruction happens. And again, I mean, take my hat off. Think about 9/11. When 9/11 happened, you couldn't drive a mile down the road without seeing an American flag. I look at my house, we have one. I don't see any other ones. What happened?
Yep.
What happened? Still the flag behind me, the flag here. Like, are you shitting me? This is the greatest nation on planet Earth. Or my favorite is, if Trump gets elected again, I'm moving. Well, move. Bye.
See ya.
Seriously.
You're not a real American
I don't give a
anyway.
shit about what some fucking celebrity has to think of because they live in a glass bubble like John Travolta, Boy in the Bubble. No, they're not old enough to know who that is. And, they live on their little hills and stuff, but they don't roll up their sleeves and work hard. They don't understand what it's like to suffer. I mean, I'm sure, they they put out or sucked a dick or did whatever they did to get where they are in acting, but real American men and women who, get up early, they work through the sickness, they work through the pain, they come home for little to no salary and grind. They're true American heroes to me, man. It's not
Yes, they are.
judge a man on what he does, or excuse me, what he has. It's what he does. Like,
That's our infrastructure. Think about it. Like, that's the fucking truck driver. That's the factory worker. That's the farmer. It's the plumber. It's the electrician. You know what I mean? Like, all the shit we need to have the infrastructure to live the life that we live.
yep, I agree.
Proud sponsor of the show, Trollco Clothing. Love what the brand's about. It's all about supporting that blue collar worker. You know them for their trademark shirt and hat, dirty hands, clean money. It's not just a slogan, it is a lifestyle. Go visit trollcoclothing.com and use my discount code OldBoyPodcast for 15% off.
I brought it up a few years ago that I don't think professional athletes should be getting paid the money they get, but I think the teachers,
Yeah.
you know,
Responders,
first
military.
responders, the people that run to when everyone's running from, they're the ones that should be getting these huge salaries because no one respects them or loves them until they're called upon and needed. The military's the same way. Look
Yeah.
at Vietnam. They spit on these warriors, these savages, these heroes coming home, but we wouldn't be where we are without it. And we can get into the whole political debate about that. But bottom line, nowadays, all war is a profit machine. That's why we do a lot of it.
That was actually one of the things, because obviously when I bring folks on the show, I want to talk about stuff that they are much more knowledgeable than me about. And that was actually one of the things I had listed out here was to get your opinion on war. And because I've just started kind of going down the rabbit hole more and just not trying to do it via TikTok, but trying to look at it from like fact-based, like as far as just actually going in and looking at who profits from war. And it's sure as fuck not the soldiers or our country. It's the fucking businesses that are a part of it.
Businesses, it is politicians, it is, pharmaceutical companies have their hands in everything. Big giant conglomerates have their hand in everything. They're controlling the media. You go over to other countries, this whole fake propaganda news bullshit, it ain't happening. It doesn't happen. We're too. I understand where the freedom of speech, freedom of this, freedom of that, but bottom line, too many people are taking advantage. Well, there's a very few select people that are taking advantage of it, right? It's like literally, I think 99% of the problems we have in the country are about 14% of this country. I'm not going to say who or what it is, but we're allowing, the other 86% is just keeping their mouth shut. But every now and then, you'll see a feed where like someone's trying to rob a store and people have like had enough of it.
Yes.
Like 6 guys, and that's how it should be. Guys jump on somebody, they beat the living dog shit out of them, and they're like, "I'm going to sue you." Well, sue me.
Yeah. Go for it.
It's like you shouldn't be stealing.
Yeah.
Your life's everybody. During COVID, everyone was suffering, dude. I profited in COVID. Like if you have that mindset, there's always a way to make money. That's the one thing I've learned. You can always make money, but what you can't always do is you can't always gain trust, and that reputation. That's more important to me, brother. That's how you do it.
Yep, your word and your name. I mean, that's my grandpa used to always say. That's the 2 things you've got: your word and your name. Everything else is material. But if people trust you, if people believe in you, if you do what you say you're going to do, and you're reliable, then you know what, you'll have a fruitful life as long as you just keep down that path and put in the hard work that people will appreciate that.
You can take hard work and reputation to the gravestone with you, to your deathbed.
Yep.
You can't take the material things. I'm telling you, I've heard this and you've heard it 1,000 times. I've never heard of anybody dying saying, "I wish I would have made more money."
Yeah.
It's always, "I wish I had more time. I wish I would have gave more hugs. I wish
I'd have worked harder." Yep. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And it's one of the things too, where it's, what you were talking about a minute ago is I'm starting to see a little bit of hope of people are starting to get fed up with this shit. Like I feel like the country's been very sheepish. You know what I mean? As far as not, and I don't know if a lot of that comes from not wanting to go with the flow, not having enough self-confidence, and awareness to stand out. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I feel like I'm starting to see just some small things where people are banding together and going, "No, man, we're not going to tolerate this shit." You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
I love that. I loved the other day at the protest, the Ole Miss students that brought the flag out and started singing the national anthem, and that's. Hey, okay, you can have your protest, but we're going to tell you what the fuck we believe in too.
And then everybody gets offended, that the certain few are like, you can't do it. Yeah, you can do it, we can. That's the problem. Everybody thinks that these, everybody who's oppressed and they're entitled. If you're entitled, so are we,
Yeah.
And right now, the cool thing is for dudes to dress up like girls and dudes to jump into women's sports, which I think is absolutely fucking
ridiculous. Fucking terrible.
They just had that long distance runner that
all because what? You weren't a good enough dude athlete.
But you weren't good enough in your own field the way that you were born.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if
you don't want to work to get
work
better,
harder.
I was about to say, and you don't want to work to get better, so you're going to take the easy way out, which is fucking identify as a girl and play girl sports. Come the fuck on.
I wanted to be a pro football player. Maybe I should go to Pee Wee and start running people over and feel like a pro. But it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time.
No, it's really been interesting, and I don't know if COVID was a big kickoff to it, because like you said, like if you want, dude, I remember like I did not give a shit. You remember this? One of the first events we did, McBee's event in Richmond. Like August of 2020, and everybody's like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing events." Fuck, man, I cooked. I remember I cooked skirt steaks for 200 for New York strips for 200 people.
I was touching it all with my fingers, and I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, none of us ever wore a mask. There was 100 people in that clubhouse. We were not going to let anybody tell us we could not operate, because McBee, that event also raises hundreds of thousands of dollars for people that need it, and we were not going to let that bullshit get in the way of doing what we were there to do that weekend and our purpose.
I think you got to be more worried about shaking John Daly's hand or giving him a hug. I kid Johnny. I love you, JD. Yeah, I love you, JD. God, you may want to cut that shit out.
Oh my God! I think that was also the same one. Was it you that put the tea in your mouth and he teed off on?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that went viral. Yeah, if you guys don't remember the crazy motherfucker with the tea in his mouth that John teed off on, well, he's right on the other side of this camera.
Well, that wasn't my fault. That was at Rob's. It started with Rob's house. I'd never had chip beef and gravy before, and Audrey, Kip, Bob's better half, made great chip beef and gravy with Jessica. Next thing you know, me and Bob are drinking beer, and I don't know if that was a 7th or 10th hole, and it was like, I bet you don't have a hair on your ass. And I was like, oh, here we go. But the booze was flowing, the cigars were going, and it was it was for a great cause and charity, and luckily
Absolutely.
Johnny didn't miss. So love you, JD.
No, but to me, like we need more of that. More of people that are taking a stance and saying, no, this is the right thing to do, and we're going to do it, and we're not worried about people. And that's another thing with companies too. Like I've seen companies that were built on taking a stand, being disruptive, and now they're, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, or we can't say that. And it's like, why are you changing your mode of operation? Like, what got you here is this. Now because of societal things, you're going to totally change the shape and the fabric of the company. Like, I don't get it.
I don't either. I remember when the whole word woke was going around. I didn't understand what it was, and my wife and daughter had to explain it to me. I'm like, what the fuck's woke mean? I didn't understand.
Yeah, woke's something I do every morning somewhere between 5:30 and 8:30.
That's right. I woke up. So
that's it.
It's a lot of companies, everybody's trying to conform to them, and it's really, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, Chad, it's the minority of the country. It's not like everybody's going crazy, And listen, this isn't a white thing. This isn't a black thing. This is just a weak-minded thing. It's all it is, right? I don't look at a human being from their color. I look at them from the actions that they're doing, And what infuriates me is a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon. Like, sure, it would have been easy for me to go into a Target and steal some shit.
Yeah.
That's not how I was raised. That's not how I was raised, and that's not how the people that were in there were raised either. I guarantee it. I guarantee someone somewhere, don't get me wrong, a few slip through the crack. We'll get a few pieces of shit through the crack, but even the majority of these people that you see that are thugs and shit. Did you see the one video of the young man, African American? His mother realized it was him. She was beating the living shit out of him on the street. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
So my point is she did the right thing.
Absolutely.
Now, if that would have been a white mother beating a kid, that all hell would have broke loose.
Yep.
But I was like, but who cares?
Right.
But
Good
my
mom.
thing is that is a mother disciplining her son who was acting like an asshole, who probably had no clue what he was doing, who jumped in the bandwagon. And the reason why she got upset is because she, I guarantee, was a hardworking, I don't care what color she is, American who raised her child better than that. And my thing is, if you see your kids doing stupid shit, call them out on it.
Yes.
Like,
and make consequences to go with calling them out.
Oh my God, there's no consequences for anything.
Yeah.
They're Christ, just the opposite. They're letting people out of prison.
Yeah.
You make prisons, like, people want to stay in prison because they have it better than living on the street.
Yeah.
But yet you go overseas, you see some of those prisons like in Uruguay and some other countries, they're like horrible. Motherfuckers want to get out and they want to find God because they've lived in hell. That's how it needs to be. You should not be rewarded for committing crimes. To put someone on a death penalty, it's astronomical amounts of money. If someone needs to die, just kill him. I know that sounds horrible. Save the money.
Hey, I'm there with you.
Your producer's probably going, what the fuck?
Nah, he's going to keep on. What you just said there reminded me the other day I had a discussion with a guy, Eddie Giardo, and we were talking, and Eddie comes from a Cuban immigrant family, and he was talking about, so his parents understand what revolution looks like, what overthrows of governments look like. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he gets born and raised in the U.S., lives a good life, decides he's going to go over to Thailand and start, building some businesses, importing some cigars, this and that.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I called my dad the day the tanks started rolling in down through downtown. And he goes, my dad tells me, son, I know you've made a lot of money over there. I know you built something. He goes, sell all that shit immediately and get your ass back home. He's like, you have no idea what's about to happen over there. He's like, revolution is ugly. And Eddie said, he goes, dude, I won't lie to you, Chad. He said, the day I stepped off that plane on American soil, I've never felt so thankful and so American in my life. Yeah. And he goes, and I tell people all the time, like, he goes, because I grew up in a pretty good family. He goes, and all the time, you'll be talking to other wealthy people, and they're like, how do I keep my kid from getting soft? Like, send them to another country. Let them be over there long enough that when they come back here, they appreciate everything they have and every opportunity this country's about.
It's kind of like you've seen it even back growing up. MTV, the Scared Straight, you send these kids, they were going to like maximum prisons, and obviously these prisoners were, they could be trusted, but I'd be scared watching it. These are just monsters. And there just needs to be more ramifications and more people held accountable for their actions. And, whether people want to believe this or not, as a child, you should be scared of consequences. You should be scared that you're going to get your ass beat. You should be scared if you get caught doing something. And nowadays, it's almost like the cool thing to do. And I don't agree with it. And I won't agree with it. And I won't change. And I'll tell you what, my kids, they get out of line. And the thing is, if you raise your kids right, I don't have to, I had to whoop my son's ass a few times growing up. It's just the prince trying to challenge the king. But my daughter, literally just a stern word here and there. And usually mama does the disciplinary. I got to come in for the big ones. And usually I don't. It's dialed right in. But you have to nip it in the butt now, and you have to stay on it, right? You have to. Success is commit and be consistent. If you want to have good kids, if you want to be good people, you have to commit to being better and then stay consistent with it. And you got to hold yourself accountable.
Well, and I know for me too, it was, you got the spankings and that shit hurt. But like for me, what hurt worse was like, I always say I won the parent lottery. My mom and dad are awesome, amazing folks. And so for me growing up and shit, even still to this day, like I just don't want to do anything to disappoint them. You know what I mean? Like that hurts a hell of a lot more than getting your ass whipped or whatever. It's like, but how do you instill that in a person? You know what I mean? Like, and that comes to proper parenting, and that type of thing. But, when you let disappointment, drive and just not, wanting to carry that name on in the right way and make them proud, like that tells you they did a good job of parenting, because I feel like that's the way, most should operate. And not letting yourself down,
I agree 1,000%, brother. I mean, people are opening their eyes and they're seeing the problem. And bottom line, the problem's not going to be fixed unless people try to do something, right? And I honestly think you need to create more discipline and have more standard operating procedures, SOPs in life. And you got to be held accountable if you don't meet those actions. That's why government and law was put into place.
Yes.
I mean, they're trying to defund police and take police away. You'll have complete chaos here.
Yep.
I'm armed to the teeth, but what about the people that aren't?
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, those of us that know how to use them, can carry them. Like everybody I know that can does, but that's not a bunch. I mean, I can guarantee you in the last 100 people I've interacted with, maybe 20%, 15%. You know what I mean? So you've got to have it. And I always say, like, when the whole defund the police thing comes up, it's like, what, though? That'll be the first sons of bitches to pick up the phone when somebody kicks in their door.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Because they're sure not armed up to bear to handle it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I wanted to talk to you about a couple other things that you've gotten into. Talk to me a little bit about the firearm company.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Watchtower Firearms, I'm currently Chief Communications Officer of Watchtower Firearms. What we did is we purchased F1 Firearms that was running skeletonized firearms, pretty well known. I've donated a few. Mm-hmm. And what we have realized is, and I'm not going to say who, but a lot of these firearm companies that you think are American made and owned are not American owned. So that means if you're buying a pistol from this person, or this person, a lot of times money is going to overseas entities. What we decided to do was our CEO, Jason Kolaski, Marine Recon, he decided to purchase a gun company, and we build everything in Texas. And right now we have different platforms. We have a 1911 that's taken the world by storm. We have the Apache. We have, which was with his name's Nick Johnson, Pewview. He's a trick shooter. I did a show with, he kicked my ass. We have a production line Apache, and then come NRA. Yes, I'm going to the NRA. We are launching a collaboration with Demolition Ranch, who is the biggest gun YouTuber on planet Earth. We have 556-308-65, and we will be coming out with a bolt gun, and everything is made in America, because we are creating the next great American firearm, and we ain't going anywhere, baby.
Dude, I love it. That sounds amazing, and knowing that everything that's in that gun is taken care of here, and every dollar from that gun stays here. I love that message, man. How many good red-blooded Americans are y'all employing while doing this?
Right now, I think we're about 52 to 55, and we're growing. We're going to actually get another, everybody's, we have a lot of vets. A lot of our gun builders are veterans. We got a top, an E8 running the show back there. We got a couple filthy Rangers. It's, we got Air Force. We got everybody back there, but we do obviously proudly love hiring veterans, giving back to the veteran world. These are full-time jobs, full medical, dental, and, we're trying to make a difference.
All right, guys, proud sponsor of the show, 5-9 Whiskey. You will see me enjoying this from time to time during the podcast. It is delicious, smooth. I've shared it with a ton of friends, and all they want to know is, where can I get it? Built for the tradesman that's put in that long day's work, and when it's over, they want to sit down with a nice whiskey, enjoy those wins from the day, and get ready for the next one. Where can you get it? 5-9 Whiskey. That's spelled out, 59whiskey.com. Don't forget about the promo code, enter Old Boy Podcast for 15% off. Well, and that brings up a good point that maybe you can help educate, myself and others. I know we have a lot of business owners and brand owners that watch the podcast. For those of us that want to be able to give back and hire veterans, is there any tips that you could give us on, what how to handle that? What to expect? Is there any, not that employees should be handled differently, but if you want to bring some veterans in and have them be part of your workforce, any tips and anything you can do to kind of how to motivate that and how to grow that portion of your workforce?
It could be as easy for us as just going to a local veteran affairs office and, putting out messages that were, you can't discriminate, right? But,
don't want
veteran hires wanted. Like you can put that. So for the gun industry, it's easy because usually the guys that we have are, hey, we're looking for gun builders with this. I mean, with the criterias and the curriculums that we're asking for, we pretty much are only going to get veterans unless you're just a good old hillbilly, which we'll take. But no, I mean, I think it's just, and it's word of mouth too. Like we've got guys internally within going, hey man, I got a great guy. That's how the top was hired. We got a guy that was like an E6. He goes, I got this guy. He's great at doing this. And, you bring him in for, you bring someone in for an interview and, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. We know. He was just, I'm like, hey, he hung around our shop for about 2-3 days. And I said, what would you change? He goes, I do this, 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 and this. I'm like, well, you're fucking hired because that's what we're going to do.
I love it.
But,
yeah.
But there are pros and cons to hiring vets. Listen, if you ask a vet what he's thinking or she's thinking, they'll let you know. So, and we're thick skinned,
Yep.
listen, if you're not making the criteria or the quota, we're going to get on your ass, but you better have a reason why you're not. So,
Sure.
But I honestly always think, whether you hear it or you believe it or not, I think if you have a veteran working for you, you have a higher, 99% of the time, you have a higher caliber of an individual who has the mindset to get it done. So that's why I like it, right? I don't need college.
Yeah.
I don't need a college degree. I like life experience, and the military does that for me.
Yeah, it's funny. I've said this on the podcast a couple of times, and I said, if you decide to go, and I went down the route, got a 4-year degree, and I always said it gets you your first job or your first opportunity. And to me, once that door is open, like when I was a hiring manager, I guess I still am. I always looked at what's your work ethic, what's your body of work. That degree just really opens one door for you. And after that, it's what have you done? What can you do? And then what's your mindset?
Amen.
Totally agree with that. Yeah. I wanted to ask you too about another one. Sergeant USA. What are you guys doing with that?
Oh, well, that's a good one. So a friend of mine, Dennis, reached out to me. We kind of met over the years and was like, listen, I want to build better gear. I'm like, talk to me. Would be more specific. Outdooring gear, because I like to go outdoor and stuff. And I'm like, I love it. What do you think? And he goes, I'm looking for an American human being that doesn't lower their standards or bow to any man or woman, unless you're at prayer or church. And I want to create just a new way of outdoor gear instead of it just being just trendy and flashy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, what do you, where are you seeing me? He goes, I want you to be the face of the company. And I'm like, well, fuck, sign me up. And, we're doing a lot of great things. We got a few commercials coming out. And, the gear is second to none. And, with me, it's not just about the gear. With me, whenever I'm purchasing something, there's two things I look at: warranty and customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So, it doesn't matter if I'm buying something that costs a penny or 200 grand. I want to know that if I buy something and there's a defect, I'm going to be able to talk to somebody and get it resolved. And that's something that we do, we made sure we did with the gun company. And Dennis is like, I'm on board. So, I explained what my hesitations / they could be hesitations or my requirements were. And he's like, brother, that's not a hesitation or requirement. That's a standard. And I'm like, well, fucking sign me up, brother.
I love it.
Sergeant's doing great stuff. You name it, and we're just growing. Great gear. I got great gear from them.
Are you guys manufacturing here?
Yeah, they do a lot of manufacturing. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool, man. That's fun. It seems like you got a couple awesome irons in the fire.
I do. I do. I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and I think it's just the art of the hustle and the struggle. I'm always struggling, even when I'm comfortable, and I'm always hustling. And I think that's just the way of the red, white, and blue. When I say I'm hustling, I don't hustle. I'm hustling. I'm moving.
Right.
I'm that guy that I enjoy getting up. I work hard. Got a beautiful wife and beautiful kids. I enjoy my downtime. I enjoy a good cigar. I enjoy a drink here or two with a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Not too crazy. I've calmed down a little bit. We used to get a little crazy.
I'm about to say we had some crazy times back in the day. It's funny when I saw you transitioning to more of the pain coaching and this and that. I was like, damn, man. I was like, Ray's really tight. Well, actually, the last McBee I saw you at, you had dropped like 15, 20 pounds and like really tightened up. Like you are. I mean,
So I don't drink a whole lot now. I might have 4 drinks a year.
Yeah.
You know, because I was almost literally, I'm telling people to stop drinking and don't. I don't need to drink. I eat pretty clean. But you know, because I always tell yourself, you got to be careful what you're saying, because you're really listening, right? So what I'm saying to other people, the inner voice is listening. And finally, it said, "Hey, man, you know, you've seen how I used to be a little heavier, drinking and partying. That's easy. It's easy to get fucking drunk every night. It's easy to go to parties. It's easy to bang up. That's easy.
Yeah.
What's hard is the discipline. And then the thing is you do hard things till they're not hard anymore, and then you don't stop. You seek." Right? I seek and explore. That's what I always say. Same thing with Sergeant. I'm seeking and exploring more discipline, more pain,
Yeah.
more growth. And that's how America is going to get back to where it was. I'm not saying I'm the forefather of it, believe me. There's guys doing it bigger, better, faster, and stronger than me. But I surround myself. Like I said, life's about frequency and rhythm, right? I get up on my rhythm, and I'm a high frequency, but I'm trying to get up there, you know, the ultra high frequency, bigger, better, faster, and stronger. That's what an alpha does. Getting in the right rooms with the right people, and not making a fool of yourself, and earning and developing a hall rep for being accepted in those rooms, right? You know, like,
Yes.
you don't just go to one of those golfing events. Everybody's somebody there. You can't just show up and act like a jackass. And a couple of years, some people were throwing some people in the pool. That wasn't me. You know, I don't do that shit.
Yeah. I remember that year we had somebody walk off with a bottle or two of whiskey. That would not have wanted to have been that guy.
Yeah, that didn't go well for me either. Yeah.
No. But once again, that's that whole policing your own group. You know what I mean? Like holding people in your network accountable. And I think that's one of the things, you know, you said a minute ago, that surrounding yourself. And I feel like that's one reason SEALs and Spec Ops folks come out, you know, 98% of them even stronger than when they went in, because you've spent this time serving that, and it's all steel sharpening steel. You know what I mean? So you're around more people, you're picking up on things, you're working on your weaknesses, you're seeing other people that you consider to be very strong struggle. So it's okay for you to struggle. You know what I mean? But we're going to struggle together, and we're going to do it.
Oh yeah. I surround myself with people that have stronger blades than me, sharper blades than me. But you know, and I always reference, you know, the knife, but
yeah.
That's my
and I think that's really key in business too, because if you go and hire a bunch of people to be part of your business and you're the smartest guy in the room, you fucked up.
You're in the wrong room.
Yeah, yep, because you're paying a whole bunch of money for nothing that's going to improve you or your brand.
Oh,
if you're gonna, and you've got to be, getting back to that word, vulnerable enough. You got to be vulnerable enough that, hey, this is my company, or this is our company, and we're hiring somebody in that in this discipline is way better than me, and be okay with it.
Yes. And just so your audience understands, Chad, when I say vulnerability is actually if it's used properly, it's an actual true sign of strength.
Yes.
It's not vulnerability does not mean you're weak. It means that you are strong enough to admit and allow and see where you could be deficient, or allow yourself to drop that guard from past trauma, pain, turmoil, chaos, whatever it is. And that's how you grow from it, right? Because, you know,
absolutely.
Case in point, you know, I'll put it in layman's terms. You see these stories of these people that rescue these dogs that are like almost dead, or they're beaten, right? And of course, when you first see that, they're going to try to bite you. But it takes time, the love, the consistency, the showing up every day. You might get bit a few times, to eventually they're going to transition and transform back into the beautiful beast that they can be. Right?
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. The dog will come back, will be healthier, but he probably won't bite you, but it'll probably attack whoever fucking comes after you. And that's who I am. I'm a dog that was beat my whole life. And now I don't have the mange anymore. I'm in peak performance. But if you fuck with what's mine, I'll bite the fuck out of you. And that's how I think that's what more people need to do.
Yeah.
Right now, everybody's too busy about, everybody's bitching. They're scared of it.
And you know, my buddy Jared Hatcher, he has a statement, has since we've been buddies. And I feel like it's no more relevant than today, and it's everybody has a cause.
I agree.
And that can sometimes be really awesome. Like we led this off with, one of our mutual causes is taking care of veterans and giving back to them when we can. That's a great cause. But these days, these causes everybody has is some hill they want to stand on that really doesn't make a fuck.
Yeah.
They just want to be disruptors in totally the wrong way.
Yeah. Like I tell people, like when I do these courses, I get all kinds of shit. I get yelled at. I told them piece of shit, snake oil. Okay. Then I'll ask them this simple question. What if you don't like my solution? What are you doing? And you know what I get? Nothing. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Or when I want to go live with someone that calls me out, let's go live. You know what they do? They decline it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a confrontation, and no one, people get upset when they see people trying to make change. But the real question is, are they angry because you're trying to make a change, or are they mad because they didn't think of it? Like, Have I made some money? Yeah. But this is America, Jack. This is what this country was founded on.
Yep.
I mean, people were probably given, the cats that made the electricity and the car, Tommy Ford, probably the same shit. But look how it innovated and revolutionized this world. I'm trying to make young men better. I'm trying to make men better. And I get all the time, well, just join the fucking military. A lot of these guys make a ton of money, or they've already been in the military.
Yep.
Or they don't meet the military standards anymore because they're too old. And then when you say that to them, they're like, well, just join the military. I'm like, you're just, what are you angry about, bro? You want a hug? Like, let me give you a hug. Let's, and that's the problem. A lot of these guys too, man, I'll just kill people with kindness. Like, bro, what's going on, man? Why are you so angry?
Yeah.
Man, like, I get it, but okay, I get it. You don't like me, and you don't like my course, but
where's that coming from?
Yeah. Why you don't follow me, or why are you like people follow me to hate me? I'm like, I tell people your life is that pathetic that I'll block you and you'll create a new account. Like, dude, you need a hug.
Yeah.
You need some milk from mama. Something, bro. But listen, I know I feel sorry, but I don't. I have compassion for certain people, but as Mr. David Pena says, compassion equals poverty. I don't know, man, to a point. Like I'll only feel sorry for someone for so long. And, I only let someone fucking bark at me for so long. Like, listen, you don't like what I'm doing. Fine. Let's have an educated conversation about it. Tell me what you would do. Maybe I can change it. Maybe you can help me change it. Yeah, but fuck you. And, I'll kick your, well, yeah, let's try it, man.
I mean, if that's what it's going to be.
Everybody's a tough guy behind a phone. I'll kick your ass, Chad. You're a lot bigger. Kick your ass. Look, I'm bigger than you now. You're bigger than me. I don't care.
No, it's funny, and there's a point there that I echo all the time, and it's okay to have an educated discussion where I'm on one side and you're on the other.
Yep.
And I may go, hey, you know what, Ray, you're not going to change my mind on this, but I would love to hear where you're coming from. You know what I mean?
That's how men talk about stuff. Yep.
Yeah. And the worst case is I'm going to come out more educated about your opinion.
Yep.
So maybe the next time somebody has that opinion, I can empathize a little bit better. I can understand it a little bit better.
I never saw it from that. I never saw it from that point of view. Like, I'm always open, but but don't jam it down my throat. Like, case in point, listen, not that if you want to wear a dress, great. Don't tell me I need to wear a dress. You
exactly.
Want to paint your fingernails, paint your fingernails. I don't want to paint my fingernails. Don't dig on me for not doing it. I won't dig on you for doing it.
And I'm the same kind of guy. Like, if you want to paint your fingernails and that's not impacting anything in my world, I really don't give a shit. Go do you. Like, I'm not going to get caught up on that.
Go be you, but don't dick and get on me for not being like you. That's what I see a lot of. Like,
yes,
or I should treat you special because you do want to dress up or do whatever. No, you're still the same person.
Yep. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Well, brother, we have about ran through the hour that we had, which I knew we were going to do because we get on here and just get to talking and just catching up, man. It's been good to see you, but talk to me about what the rest of 24 looks like, what you've got going on, anything else I may have missed that you're involved in. I would love for people to, and guys, if you're not following Ray, you definitely need to go check out his socials. I love watching them.
Yeah, so let's start with that. You can hit me up on IG at RayCashCare, raycashcare.com. That's the main two spots to hit me up. Got a couple speaking events. I'm doing a speaking event up in Long Island, May 23rd. I've got a big event I'm doing an event with Tim Grover and Tim Kennedy, Eric Rock, The Muscle, big speakers, July 19th and 20th in Idaho.
Where y'all doing that? Where y'all doing that at? Coeur d'Alene or where at in Idaho? Do you know?
Boise, Idaho.
Boise, nice.
Yep. If you guys want any information on that. What else we got going on? Guns are going crazy. We're launching a huge new platform with Demolition Ranch. And then the only other thing on a personal note is my daughter turns 16 in August, and me, her mom, and her girlfriend, I'm taking them to Hawaii for a vacation I haven't been on in a long time. And, me and mom are going to get a separate room and, howl at the moon and do our things, let the kids do their things.
And one thing before we go, we have to give props to your wife. Every event I've ever seen you at, Ray, the stuff I see on social, like, she's hilarious as shit and she loves to push your buttons, but super supportive, always by your side, good, bad, ugly, just an amazing woman.
Yeah, she's lucky to be with me, and I give her. She's welcome. No kid, no, she is amazing. I love my wife. She's my best friend, and she stuck with me. So there she is.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, hey, brother, thank you so much for the time. And guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this one as much as I did. Till the next episode, y'all take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you so much for listening to the Old Boy Podcast. Please subscribe, like, set your notifications, whatever you got to do to make sure you're getting the latest episodes. Also, feel free to go back, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Get some of the past episodes, check those out, and always feel free to check out our socials, Old Boy Podcast. Thank you so much.